there. So, here we are. Let me share the screen. Okay, Madhurya Kadambini. So Madhurya means sweet. You know, Madhurya Rasa, it means a sweet relationship with Krishna, usually. Madhuram, Madhuram. Madhu, they call Krishna Madhu, don't they? Sometimes. And so that means it's a name for him as sweet. They also call bees Madhu because, you know, they produce honey. So in Sanskrit, there's many different understandings of the same word. And Kadambini means a cloud bank. So when we say something's Madhurya or sweet, we say it's nectar, right? It's another word for sweetness. When we get a nectar drink. Or Kadambini means a cloud bank. A cloud bank of nectar. It's got Unan Nube Kargada de Nichta. So this sounds like either Italian or Spanish, maybe Portuguese. So maybe, I don't know why that's there. Okay, so it's in showers. You know, when you've got a cloud, especially in Manchester, you know, you get rain. So, but this is not the same kind of rain. This is nectar. When it rains in England, it's like miserable. But this is a rain of we get a rain of nectar. So we'll hear about that. We don't have to recite the verse, but this is written by Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. So he's in our disciplic succession. Usually on the altar, we have Prabhupada, we have Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, we have Gorakishore Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Jagannath Das Babaji. So his spiritual master was Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. So, you know, we can say 200 years ago, he was actually, or just over, he was present. And before him was Narottam Das Thakur. So, they must have lived a long time because Narottam, he came just after Lord Chaitanya. So, and then Narottam, his spiritual master is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And his spiritual master is Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das.
Maharaj, did you say Narottam Das Thakur's spiritual master is Krishna Kaviraj Das Goswami? Isn't it Loknath?
What's that?
Isn't it Loknath? Narottam Das Thakur's spiritual master is Loknath Das, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it?
No, not according to Bhagavad Gita. Let's have a look. Okay, it says here Vishwanath is from Narottam.
Narottam Das Thakur's.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, Narottam, Lokanath. Oh, it was Narottam who served Lokanath, is that right?
Yes, and he was his Diksha Guru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the point is that our disciplic succession is not always Diksha. Do you know that?
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So it depends on where the nectar's coming from. If we take Diksha, but all the guidance is coming from somewhere else, and we, then that may be the disciplic succession that's taken into account. Just like, Jagannath Das Babaji, he was a Shiksha guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because that's where he got his inspiration from. The connection's not through swaha, the fire sacrifice. It's actually a practical connection. And the Diksha is to, one thing, the Diksha guru takes responsibility in that he has to make sure that, the disciple gets educated. But it may not be him who does it. He may be responsible. Yeah.
Okay.
And what else is there? Anything else? I think that's... Okay, so Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura, well, Mangala Charana. This means, Mangal means auspicious. So before we read any book, or before somebody writes a book, they'll recite the Mangala Charana. And we say, Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha. Sometimes before a class we'll say that, or before, a particular reading of a scripture. And so the translations underneath. And Mangala Charana means it's 3 things that we do. As far as I can't remember. We glorify, we're taking benediction from our spiritual authority. We're wishing all prosperity for that authority. And what else? I can't remember the third one. We're asking for some for his blessings. Okay, but in other words, we're wishing all success for the spiritual authority, asking for their blessings, which is a good relationship. Yeah. It's meant to remind us that the mercies, where we're getting the mercy from, because we tend to forget. Okay, who wants to read first? We'll let Jai Krishna read first.
It's very small, the writing. I'll try. The mercy of...
Wait a minute. All right, go on, Jai. You can go first. Yes.
The mercy of... Excuse me a minute. I can't get the framing proper.
You can't get it, what?
There's a little zoom. Oh, is there a zoom button?
What do you want to do?
I want to... Oh, dear. I'm trying to get it to the right size. It isn't moving at all.
Right size? What about that?
I'll try.
Yeah.
The mercy of... Oh, it's very small. The mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No, it's gone out of perspective again.
Okay, I'll let you work that one out. We'll let the gaffer read.
I might just have to listen.
Okay, I'll let Jai Krishna read.
Right, I'm on it. The mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an uncontrollable cloud bank of exquisitely sweet nectar, whose sudden appearance fully rejuvenates the grains of ninefold bhakti in the field of the heart, extinguishes the burning summer heat of lust, and bestows rapture to the universal river of living beings. From far off, may those clouds of the Lord's mercy give satisfaction and pleasure even to this worthless soul, a dried-up tree in the desert. Though previous Mahajans, Prahlad, Dhruva, Kumaras, etc., have taken up the path of bhakti, I constantly pay my obeisances to Srila Rupa Goswami, the Lord's dear one, by whose mercy one now attains the intelligence to see bhakti in its complete rasa form.
Okay, that last one is offering obeisances. Then, may those clouds of Lord's mercy give satisfaction and pleasure even to this worthless soul. Anyway, that's the other one, offering obeisances. Carry on.
We will proceed on the basis of Shastra or scriptural evidence, Shabda Praman, which is the best of all evidences. Thus, the Tatitriya Upanishad, Shruti, after discussing the different coverings, Annamaya, etc., emphatically declares that superior to Brahman, who is the shelter or support of these coverings, Brahma Pucham Pratishta, is the Param Anandamaya Purusha or Paratpa Tattva, most supreme truth. By describing him as the embodiment of rasa, raso vai saha rasam yevyam labdavanandi bhavati, the Lord is rasa itself, and attaining that rasa, the jiva becomes blissful. In this vein, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the cream of Vedanta, an emperor among all types of evidence, describes Lord Krishna as the full embodiment of rasa or pleasure.
Yes, so that everybody's searching for pleasure. This is actually explaining from Shastra where that pleasure is coming from. So we are advised to approach that. And it talks about something which is in the Bhagavad Gita, Annamaya. Remember this? In the 13th chapter, it talks about Annamaya means different stages of consciousness. Anna means food. Conscious of just wanting to eat like a baby, a new baby. And Pranamaya, consciousness that we're actually a living entity. We have life symptoms. Jnanamaya, understanding that we're not the body. I think that's an Annamaya. No, understanding, thinking, feeling, and willing, that's Pranamaya. And then understanding life symptoms as well. I forget what Jnanamaya is, but then the next one is Anandamaya. Oh, not Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya. This means that we understand we're not the body. And then Anandamaya. So this is talking about Anandamaya. So all these things are covering our consciousness, material absorption. So we go through the different stages. And when we become freed, then we experience an Anandamaya, which is actually Krishna, when we reciprocate with Krishna completely. Okay. You can read that. I think it's the 5th or 6th verse of the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It explains this. Okay, so maybe Sharanga, do you want to read?
The various groups of people in the wrestling arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the ordinary men as the best of men, the women as Cupid incarnate, the cowherd men as their relative, the impious rulers as a chastiser, his parents as their child, the king of Bhoja as death, the unlearned as the universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipful deity. In the Bhagavad Gita as well, the Lord himself asserts his identity above Brahman. Brahmano hi pratistaham. I am the basis of Brahman.
Okay, so just that last paragraph, it's mentioning that, that's how Krishna, he can reciprocate with everybody. And that's what he does, even for a devotee. There's a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Rit Saroja. He says that, Krishna, that we actually purify ourselves by hearing about Krishna. And then when we're purified, then Krishna will appear before us in a form that we've always meditated on him. So we're all meditating on different deities, maybe, yeah. So it'll be Krishna will arrange that deity which we're most attracted to. He will actually appear like that. So Krishna's, Prabhupada says Krishna's flexible. He's flexible to the desires of his devotee. Okay.
Maharaj, we can't see you.
Let me have a look. Anyway, carry on. I'll manifest in a minute.
Therefore, the absolute truth is none other than the all blissful, transcendental Raj Nandana, Sri Krishna, the son of the king of Braj. He is equipped with transcendental Shuddha, eternal names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. This blissful Lord, this blissful Lord does not descend to human perceptions of the ear, eye, mind, and intellect by any material cause, but rather simply by his own independent will. Just as by his own will he appeared in the material world as Krishna in the Yadu dynasty and Rama in the Raghu dynasty.
Okay. If you, as we're going through, if there's anything you want to bring up, just do that. Just put your hand up. Or give me a shout, because when I put this screen sharing on, in order that I can see the screen, I just have a little corner where all the devotees are, and I can only see about 4 devotees at a time, Okay. So maybe
I've got a question, Maharaj.
you've got a question. Okay.
Yeah, well, that paragraph before where it says that all the different people all perceived like Krishna to be in different ways, in different relationships.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. That they all had a different perspective on who God is and what God is, and I was wondering if that could also be applied to beyond the realms of our own religion to people who follow other religions. So people who are Christians and Muslims and all the different other religions of the world. Then it's kind of is it that it's similar that they've also got a different understanding or perspective of who God is and what God is, like that.
Well, the Christians, God appeared before Moses as a burning bush. So I suppose what kind of relationship can you have with a burning bush, It's like that. So, and or when they were in the Sinai desert, when they were in the wilderness, it was a big, it was what they call it, a huge, I forget what they call it, a post of fire, you know. They were following this all through the desert. So, you know, it means when you've got beyond just understanding that, you know, that either God's impersonal or, you know, is represented by this or that or the other, when we start to understand he's a person, then that's when we can actually, he can reveal himself properly and you can develop a relationship with a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you could say a personal relationship's higher, but then for those who have an impersonal relationship, then there's different kind of like impersonal ways that God or Krishna can appear, like you mentioning, as a burning bush or as a burning log or something. What was it you said? Yeah.
Yeah, according to your qualification, he'll appear in that way. So, you know, all I can assume from what it says in the Bible is that, you know, at that time they were qualified to see him in that way. He didn't appear in his original form.
Right. Oh yeah, well, Christians have an idea of God being like an old man with a white beard, don't they? You know, like the painting on the Sistine Chapel.
A father.
Yeah, throwing thunderbolts.
A father.
Yeah, father figure, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Throwing thunderbolts. I saw that. Or, you know, they worship Jesus Christ. I mean, there was, you know, Jesus Christ crucified on a cross. So I'm sure they don't want to see Jesus Christ in that situation. I've got all these, what do they call them, rectangles on the screen. Can anybody else see them?
I can, yeah.
Who's
And
putting
they
them on?
cover it.
Where are they coming from?
Before there were some yellow squiggles as well, but they've gone now.
Yeah.
It might have been me that I've been trying to get the screen clean, and I've got rectangles on my screen, and they're covering some of the writing up.
I think somebody's acting the goat here. Does any technicians know how to get them off? Let me put. No.
Maharaj, there was a little, I think you'd selected something because there was like a blue thing come up. So if you press undo and then you should be able to get rid of them.
A blue what?
There was like a little blue thing came up on your screen. So I think you must have pressed something and now that's why you're drawing triangles or diamonds, whatever they are.
I don't know. I'll stop the screen share and come back again and see if
Yeah,
it goes.
stop and start again.
Oh, it's gone. Let's start again. Oh, that's it. Okay, so who's reading next? It's Kushbu, isn't it? That's it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. The Lord is not dependent on any material cause for his appearance. Similarly, his non-different energy, devotional service, bhakti, in keeping with its self-manifesting nature, it is not dependent on any material cause. Thus, it is said, Savai pumso para dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.6.
So that's answering the first questions in the Bhagavatam of the sages about what's the ultimate benefit for people in this age to come, in the age of Kali. And so the answer is given there. That whatever occupation we've got, it should bring us to the point of pure devotional service. Okay.
Should I continue?
Well, yeah, you can read another couple of minutes and then we'll change readers.
Okay, Maharaj. The word ahetuki, causeless, in this statement indicates that devotional service appears without any material cause, hetu. In such statements as yadrachya mat kathadau, if somehow or other a person becomes attached to hearing about me, Srimad Bhagavatam 11:28, mad bhaktim cha yadrachya, somehow he attains my devotional service, Srimad Bhagavatam 11:20-11, and yadracha yavopachita, the word yadrichaya must mean by its own independent sweet will. The meaning of yadricha in the dictionary is also complete independence. Some people take the word to mean by good fortune. That meaning is not suitable here, for then one must inquire about the origin of the good fortune. Is the cause material pious activities, shubh karma, or not? If one assumes good fortune is generated from pious activities, this would mean bhakti is ultimately generated from material karma. Bhakti would become dependent on material karma.
Does everybody understand that? He says bhakti is causeless. That's the nature of bhakti. So Yarichcha, it's just saying that some people will interpret that as being by good fortune. But if you say by good fortune, it means it's a material thing. Yeah? So bhakti is spiritual, so it can't be by good fortune. Otherwise, when one of us got it, why don't everybody else get it? We just say fortuitous. We're in the right place at the right time. So everything's by chance, in other words. We're just fortunate to have got bhakti. And anybody can get it. So it don't mean that. Does everybody understand that point?
So then, Maharaj, why does it say in Bhagavad Gita that from the past life deeds, one person, it gets decided for that person how they, what level they would be on for devotional service in the next life or something like that?
Yeah, but that's when we've started practicing.
Okay.
But, initially we have to come in contact with devotional service.
Okay.
So we can read on. If everybody understands that point, we'll go on. So does everybody understand it?
Yes, Maharaj.
Can anybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Maharaj.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll change readers now. I've got
Actually, I've got a question for you, Maharaj, on that.
all right.
So I was reading the other day. It's a bit of an argument some devotees are having whether bhakti is inherent or it's something you gain. If it's inherent in the jiva, or it's something that you develop through just through practicing devotional service. So it's a bit of an argument apparently going on in Vaishnava circles.
It's the same thing as this, isn't it? Bhakti is in the heart. The seed of bhakti is the bija. But it takes a process to make it fructify, the seed. Like say if you've got, a seed, a carrot, you have to water it and it has to be in the right atmosphere and right soil. So Anyway, that's the answer to the question in a minute. We'll go a bit further and we'll realize what bhakti actually is, where it's coming from. So we'll change readers again. Maybe Mayapur Chandradaya can read.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Maharaj, I'm just not sure which particular sentence we ended up.
Well, I can only see half the screen here. I'm having a bit of a problem.
If everyone goes into the chat, there's a link to the document which they can download, which they can open up on the computer, and you can do it that way. It's a lot easier.
And then I
No,
can take, if everybody can
see it-
do
I
that,
see it
I'll
on my
take this
computer.
sharing off, then it helps me as well. Anyway,
So
we
is
got to Srimad Bhagavatam 2:6. So we read on from that.
Two 6?
Yeah. It says there's a verse, Savai Pumsham Paradharmo, and then after it there's a paragraph.
Yeah. Okay,
That's already done. We want the next one.
the word ahaituki that we also probably read. Yeah. The word ahaituki, causeless, in this statement indicates the devotional service appears without any material cause, hetu. In such statements as Yadrichaya Matkatadau, if somehow or other a person becomes attached to hearing about me, Srimad Bhagavatam 11:28, Mad Bhaktim Cha Yadrichaya, somehow he attains my devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:20-11. And Yadricha Yavo Pachita. The word Yadrichaya must mean by its own independent sweet will. Meaning of Yadricha in the dictionary is also complete independence. Some people take the word to mean by good fortune. And that's what we discussed, right? You explained this point, I think. Yeah. That meaning is not suitable here, for then one must inquire about the origin of the good fortune. Is the cause material pious activities Shubha karma or not? If one assumes good fortune is generated from pious activities, this would mean bhakti is ultimately generated from material karma. Bhakti would become dependent on material karma, but this is a contradiction to its independent, self-manifesting nature. Again, if one considers this good fortune is not due to pious activities, it becomes both indescribable by words and inconceivable. Consequently, an inconceivable entity is insubstantial and cannot describe the cause of bhakti.
Yeah, if it's not by any material cause that we do what we do, then what's causing it? We can't explain. That's what it's saying.
Mm.
So let's see what it says next. Let's maybe Rachel can read.
If one proposes that the cause of bhakti is the Lord's mercy, then one must find a reason for that mercy. Thus, this statement, giving rise to further need for explanation, is inconclusive in itself. One may further qualify this statement by saying the cause of bhakti is the Lord's unqualified, no padhi, or causeless mercy. If this mercy is causeless, then one should observe that the Lord bestows it equally everywhere. Since it is not observed to fall on everyone, then this would imply the fault of partiality, vaishamai, on the part of the Lord. Thus, the causeless mercy of the Lord cannot be accepted as the cause of bhakti.
Mm.
You understand? Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yes. So would anybody like to put that in their own words? He means if it's causeless, then why doesn't everybody get it? You know, if it's actually one doesn't get it, one does get it, you know, it means that why? It means that, you know, there's some partiality that's given to one and not the other. Yeah. So it can't be the causeless mercy of the Lord. There seems to be a reason that one person gets it and one doesn't. That's the point. Yeah, it's a very intricate, this.
Maharaj,
Yeah.
is that down to the individual person wanting it? He has to look for it, not just sit waiting.
Well, I can't, you're not very clear.
I said, is it because a person has to look for it and not just sit waiting? He's got to take the first step towards Krishna.
Well, let's read a bit further. We understand your point. It means it's up, so that means it's up to what we do, whether we get it. So that means there's a cause that Krishna sees, oh, this person's interested, then I'll give it to him. So that means there's a cause. But it says bhakti is causeless. The plot thickens, right? What was Rachel message?
Someone may question that the Lord punishes the demoniac and protects his devotees. Is this not partiality? But this type of partiality the Lord shows towards his devotees does not imply a fault, dushanam, in the Lord. Rather, it is an ornament, bhushanam, which enhances his nature. This affectionate obligation of the Lord to his devotees is called Bhakta Vatsalya. It is the all-powerful king which subjects of all the Lord's qualities and reconciles all contradictory factors, and will be fully discussed in the 8th chapter.
So what does that mean? It means that his favoritism towards a devotee is actually an ornament. It's not considered partiality. But why it's an ornament, I don't fully understand.
What if we use like ordinary logic, which is say that the exception doesn't break the rule? So Lord,
that's what it seems to be saying. It's but this is English, isn't it? That's the English language. You know what I mean? Everything's like this is this, the law of grammar, but then in this situation, it's not like that. So, you know, this is not very logical.
I think he's saying it doesn't show he's got a fault. It beautifies him. So he's saying partiality is a fault, but he's saying this is actually, it's not a fault, it's an ornament. So it actually beautifies Krishna more because it shows his nature.
Yeah, I understand that. And I agree. But still, it seems to be caused by his, you know, the devotee, because he's a devotee and he's rendering service and is favorable towards the Lord, Krishna's reciprocating. So he wouldn't reciprocate unless you actually were a devotee. So that, I think everybody understands that. But why is it not partiality? Okay, let's read a bit further. Anyway, it says we have to accept in this case, it's an ornament. It's not considered partiality. It's glorifying the Lord's mercy, I think, you can say that he's actually he's not a dead stone.
Maybe it's not partiality because the partiality is available to everyone. So he's not partial to anyone because it's available to everyone.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was explanation which is saying that Krishna is like everyone. He is considering equal, so he is not partial to anyone. But devotee is special. That's why it's beyond that ordinary judgment.
Anyway, is everybody satisfied with that? I've never been satisfied with this phrase. Until somebody can explain it to me, it's like it doesn't quite actually gel. It's like the author's fudging it, you know what I mean? He's making it fit. It feels like that. Okay, read on.
Sachinta Beda Beda Tattva.
It wasn't read yet.
I
It's
haven't
written.
read, but my screen's stuck. It's just. Is it from him proposing the unqualified?
I can't see. I've got the
Yeah.
right in the middle of the screen is
is.
everybody's face, so I can't see the
It
writing.
is in proposing the unqualified you start. Yeah.
I can read that bit. Yeah. Shall I read that bit? In proposing the unqualified causeless mercy of the devotee as the cause of devotion in another person, one may object that the devotee's mercy, like the Lord's, can be partial. Considering the case of the Madhyama Bhakta, one finds he does exhibit partiality or discretion in his distribution of mercy. For it is said in the Bhagavatam, Prema Maitri Kripesha Ya Karoti. Sorry, I've lost my place now. It's the screen's moved and it's gone out of perspective.
Okay, I've stopped the share now. Let me try again because oh, that's better. I'm just going to read it myself so I can, I'm finding it. I couldn't really follow because I couldn't see what you read. But in proposing the unqualified causeless mercy of the devotee as the cause of devotion in another person, what? So this is a proposition, right? It's the devotee. It's a devotee's mercy, right? This is the premise we're coming from now. Devotee's mercy, like the Lord, can be partial. In a person, one may object. One may object that the devotee's mercy, like the Lord's, can be partial, right? So just like the Lord may be partial by showing mercy to a devotee or somebody who's positive towards him, a devotee may have the same, the same tendency that he is partial to giving devotion where he wants. Okay. Considering the case of a Madhyam Bhakta, one finds let me move this. One finds he exhibits partiality or discretion in his distribution of mercy. Madhyamadikari, he chooses where to go. He exhibits prema towards the Lord friendship with the devotees, mercy to the innocent, disregards the hostile to bhakti. In other words, this partiality is accepted as the natural characteristics of the Madhyam Bhakta. Since the Lord is subservient to his devotee, he lets his mercy flow after the mercy of his devotee, and there is no irregularity in this. So the devotee approaches somebody and the Lord reciprocates with a mood of the devotee or desire of the devotee. Now the cause of that mercy manifesting in the devotee is bhakti, itself residing within his heart. Without the devotee having bhakti, there is no possibility of the devotee manifesting mercy to others. Bhakti causes the devotee's mercy, which causes bhakti in another person. So bhakti causes bhakti. The self-manifesting, causeless, independent nature of bhakti is thus concluded. So we have to have bhakti in order to give bhakti to anybody else. We may choose, but unless we've got bhakti, we can't do it. Right? And we've got bhakti from somebody else because they've got bhakti. But they're choosing who to give bhakti to. But they can't give bhakti unless they've got it. So it's saying that we haven't got a choice to give or to not to give unless we've got bhakti. So bhakti is the cause. That makes sense?
So ultimately, how is the person who's sharing bhakti with others getting the bhakti?
From another devotee who's got bhakti.
And how has the other devotee gotten the bhakti?
From another devotee.
Like ultimately.
But he can't give it unless he's got bhakti. So unless he's got bhakti, he hasn't got a choice to give it or not give it. So, somebody a long time back, they just got bhakti. You know what I mean? And when we get bhakti, we feel like helping others, right? We feel like giving Krishna consciousness. So it's coming from bhakti. Otherwise, we've got no inclination to take bhakti ourselves or to give it to anybody else unless we give them bhakti.
You know what it's like? Like a big transcendental triangle scheme, them pyramid schemes. It's the same.
Yeah, ultimately, let's come down to it. Ultimately, everything comes from Krishna.
Mhm.
If we're, so don't get in, just understand this one point. That's all we need to understand. Otherwise, it's like we're thinking about like the other question: how did we get in this material world? And Prabhupada says, don't worry about that. Let's get out. So, don't worry about, how bhakti originally, started giving bhakti to others. It's like eternal. But we should understand that, we can't give bhakti unless we've got it. And we can't take bhakti unless we get the mercy of a devotee who gives us bhakti because he's got it. So ultimately, we're dependent on the mercy of a devotee to receive bhakti. That we should remember that. That's what we need to know. And if he hasn't got bhakti, he'll give us something else, and it won't be bhakti. So it's not just dependent on Everybody satisfied now? All right, we'll move on. Before anybody asks any more tricky questions. Anyway, one day I'll be satisfied with it, but I'm still, I have to satisfy myself with that.
So devotee is partial too.
What?
So devotee is partial too, according to this paragraph, because he is partial in distributing mercy to particular person.
Yeah, that's a Madhyamadikari. We can't preach unless we've got discrimination.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise we're on the platform of Uttama Adhikari and we just think everybody's got bhakti except you, except him. So in order to preach, he has to actually come down to, you know, oh, here we go again. Down to the Madhyam platform.
Yeah. Discriminating platform. Yeah.
And then, you know, on the Madhyam platform, you discriminate. But that discrimination's, you know, for everybody's benefit. It means that, you know, he's thinking, what will benefit everybody? If I don't go near the atheists, they can't blaspheme the Lord, so I'll not go near them. Like that. And he's thinking about others, you know, in a similar way. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes left. Anybody not read yet? I know Jack's not read. What about Don? There's no Don. Maybe Schumann Prue. Do you want to read?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, sure. This is a statement. Yo adhina jata sarva. Yes, savena. A person attains faith in the service of the Lord. Extreme good fortunes. The words vigyana, extreme good fortune should be ultimately understood to mean the attainment of the mercy of the devotee, bhakta karunaya, who is surprise, ati karma, the fortune that results from the material pious activities, subha karma. Here, one should not consider that the devotee is dependent on the will of Lord, and therefore cannot initiate the bestowal of mercy. For the Lord accept subservience to his devotee, Shubha Sabhaktya Sayata, and the prominence of the devotee's positions by giving him the power to bestow the Lord's own mercy. Savkripa Shakti. The Lord is Paramatma, oversees those those matters relating to the jiva's extreme senses. the reward from his past activities. However, he shows special mercy to his devotees. Saprashada. In the Bhagavad Gita, Mat Prasadat Param Santim Mat Samhitam Adhir Gachati. Bhagavad Gita 1862 and 615. Sri Cakravartī Pada cites those sloka among almost as if they were on. The actual wording of this fast is Tat Prasadat, but here, since Tat refers to the Lord, Mat can also be used. Krishna himself speaks of his prasada or mercy as the means to attain transcendental place and his supreme eternal realm. The prasada takes the form of the Lord's bestowal of his own kripa shakti or power of mercy to his devotee. In other words, one can receive the Lord's mercy through the mercy of the devotee who bestow it, as was previously explained.
Okay. So that's saying that, you know, the mercy is ultimately coming from Krishna. But he makes himself subservient to his pure devotee. If we want to give bhakti, then, you know, because Krishna will actually do that, he'll give us his kripa shakti. So, I mean, it depends on the potency of the devotee as well. Is he actually a pure devotee or a not so pure? I'm assuming that will be taken into consideration, that and we have to really desire to give that mercy as well. Like on book distribution, if Christian doesn't, it's not like we go out there and we desire to give books out. We get 1,000 books in one day. No, we have to make the effort. But still, the same principles there, that the devotee's desire is followed by Krishna's mercy, or Krishna's Kripa Shakti. Kripa means ability or work. He gives him the ability to do that. So everybody's clear now, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Okay, so we'll stop there. It's time, and we'll pick up again next week. Somebody, maybe Rachel's good at marking the books. If Rachel marks where we're at.
I'll put it on the group, Maharaj.
Okay.